Hello everyone and welcome to the Greek exam preparation mini course for level A2. This is a shorter version of the full course designed especially for those of you who are preparing to sit the exam soon. The complete version will be made available at a later stage, but for now this mini course will give you a focused support and useful practice to help you feel more confident. So during this mini course I will be reading exactly what is on the screen at times, not everything. I will state the obvious. I will read what is obviously in front of you. I will make no assumptions about anything. Everything must be absolutely clear to you. So let's take a look at the exam format, which I think you know by now. So we have the listening test, the reading test, the writing test, and the oral test. The exam duration is 1 hour and 45 minutes, and I suggest you put aside or set aside 2 hours for every possibility and eventuality that might happen during the exam. Of course, arrive early. So here we have the listening test, which we will do first. Here we have on the first example slide some information that you may see in Greek. You will never see it in English, and I have translated it here for you. You can see that the exam will be of 25 points, and that's mostly what we are focusing on for the moment. So let's get started with the first test. So here we have the listening test, and you will see here that you have 25 minutes to complete the entire test. You will hear each audio twice, so be calm, be patient, and don't stress. Here you will hear during the audio that you will be told you have 30 seconds to review any information on a sheet. You will also be told that you have 1 minute to review any answers that you may have written down by that time. So listen carefully, be calm, and just expect the second audio in case you might have missed anything the first time. You will note here that each test is 67 marks, totaling 25 points. So again, here we have it, 4 parts, listening test. What type of test will you have to review? We will have a test where there are pictures that you need to match together to descriptions. Then we have multiple choice questionnaire, true or false, and then note taking or form filling. So note taking and form filling might be gaps as well. Gap filling. So please pause the video and read all of these points. Let's not take anything for granted. Let's be sure that you understand everything. Let's get started with the first listening test, part 1, and that is picture matching. So here we have the picture matching test. You can just pause the video and read the task and the tips for students. They are self-explanatory, and you can remember that there will be a second time that the audio will be played. So don't stress, take your time and listen for the clues and vocabulary that you know. Again, here, pause the video and read through the skills needed. It is self-explanatory. So here we have a closer look at the picture matching test. At number 1, you will see that there are 6 questions worth 6 points, and you have 25 minutes to complete it. So where you will normally just see the Greek, I've given you the English translation. Again, read through them, know the vocabulary of the questions, read them several times over so that they are very familiar to you during the test and you have less stress when you know more information. So here, another 2 boxes, the Greek and the English. So I encourage you to learn the vocabulary of the questions or read them several times over so you know what to expect during the exam. Let's take a look at the listening test number 2 or part 2, the multiple choice questions. So here we have the continuation of the multiple choice part 2. So just pause the video and read through the tasks and example topics. So get used to the vocabulary that you see in these boxes. So 1, 2, and 3. Read them several times over. You see the English here. match the vocabulary with the Greek and get used to them. Get used to them, saying them out loud, because you will hear these and you will see these in the exam during the listening test. So here a continuation of part 2, multiple choice. Read through skills needed and tips for students, and then again boxes 1 and 2, match up the vocabulary so that they are very familiar to you, so you have no problems during the exam. When you know your vocabulary of the questions of an exam, it saves you time and gives you time to concentrate on other things, on scoring more points. Let's take a look at listening test part 3, true or false. So part 3, true or false. Learn the vocabulary for true and false. And in this test here, you will see the statements made on the sheet. You will listen to the audio and you will match them up to see whether they are true or false. So part 3 of the true or false, let's take a closer look. So once again, you see boxes 1 and 2 and 3 here. So there is a lot of repetition of vocabulary of question words and statements. Get used to them. Don't waste time in an exam with things you already have a heads up on. Learn the vocabulary of questions. Again, here we have a repeat of what we've seen before. Boxes 1, 2, and 3. Same vocabulary. Super great for you. Easy to remember after you've read it so many times. At least super familiar for you for the exams. Let's take a look at the listening test part 4 of the listening test, note taking or form filling. Part 4, note taking or form filling. So you will be given a sheet similar to the one on the right and you will complete it according to the audio that you will listen to. You will listen carefully, you will read the question, you will see the question here as in the example, and then you will write down single words, maybe 1 or 2 words together to complete 6 or 7 questions in this style of test. Just a quick reminder that this is a very short version of the exam preparation course, mini course that I'm offering you, just to help you out for the pending exams. Again, read through the sheet, pause it, read through the tips and the skills needed, and look at the requirements. Become accustomed to it and let it be super familiar to you. So a closer look at part 4, note taking and form filling. We have boxes 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. Also, again, very similar to the previous ones, similar vocabulary. It will only be the synopsis or the theme of the story that will differ. So read through these several times over. It is to your benefit. So here is an example of short, brief notes at the end of exams or tests or papers. It's good to know what's going on so that you do not feel uncomfortable about what it means. You are aware of what it means, and it's not something else that might stress you. So we've just finished reviewing the listening test. If you don't have the audio, just let me know, drop me a message, and I will send it to you. So here we are looking at the reading test. Let's get started on that. So as before with the listening test, here is the title, the description of the title, mentioning that this test is worth 25 points to you. So the reading test, duration 30 minutes and a total of 25 points. There are 4 reading tasks, part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just a tip, while doing the reading test, keep going until you have no more pages left. Sometimes you may forget to turn the page and you will skip a part of the reading test assuming you have finished, and of course you will lose points. Avoid silly mistakes. What type of test do we have? So true or false, matching people to phrases, multiple choice, and fill in the blanks. So just pause the video and read through these tips and advice you see on this page. Let's take a look at reading test part 1, true or false. Part 1 of the reading test, true or false. Again, we have boxes 1, 2, and 3. Here, the vocabulary will repeat itself. The main vocabulary of the question parts will repeat itself right throughout the reading test. So read them over and over again. This will help you be more familiar with the questions during the exam and less stress, meaning more time to concentrate on the answers. This is a continuation of part 1 of the reading test, true or false. You can pause the video to read the tasks and the skills needed. Reading test part 2, matching people to phrases. So part 2, matching people to phrases. You can pause the video and read the task required, and there is an English version of this text here you will have received by email. If not, let me know and I can send it to you. Let's take a closer look at part 2, matching people to phrases. So once again, box 1, 2, and 3. Again, the question part of these questions are the same right throughout the reading test. Just the theme or the story that changes. Again, read them over and over again so that they are familiar to you. Again, just pause the video and read through the skill and the tip given here and pay attention to the short note where you see the red arrow, turn the page. Let's look at reading test part 3, multiple choice. So part 3, multiple choice. From dialogues you see on the right hand side. Once again, you will see boxes 1, 2, and 3. The question part is a repeat of the same vocabulary as before. I will repeat to you again, read over and over again to become familiar. Don't waste time on information you already have a heads up on. Pause the video and read through the task, skill and tip here. This is a continuation of part 3. This slide here is just showing you the page 3 of part 3 of the multiple choice from the dialogues. Just remember there are several pages to each test and make sure you have completed all of them. Keep turning the page. Let's take a look at the reading part, part 4, the test where you have to fill in the blanks. Part 4, fill in the blanks. So yes, again, just pause the video and read through task, skill, and tip. So again, part 4, fill in the blanks and a closer look. Box 1, 2, and 3, very similar to the questions before, same vocabulary. You're doing yourself a huge favor if you are reading these over and over again. When it becomes boring to you, do it again, and then do it again. So the final page of part 4, and as you will see at box number 3, the end of the exam. Pay attention to the notes on the bottom of each page. They will always be the same. If you know them and you know the vocabulary, you're going to be fine. Nothing will confuse you. Now let's take a look at the writing test. Again, everything on your exam sheets, your test sheets will be in Greek. I've provided you here with the English translations. You will see here the writing test offers 25 points. The duration of the writing test is 45 minutes, 25 points, and you have 2 tasks to complete. You will see part 1 and part 2. Of course, you will see it written in Greek. So the written test has 2 parts. The first part will be something like an informal letter or an email, and part 2 will be a formal letter or an email. Pause the video and read through these tips and advice that you see here. Don't omit them. Read them, know them well, know what to expect during the exam. So let's take a look at writing tests, part 1, the informal letter. So part 1 of the writing test is the informal letter, and this is going to test that you are able to write to a friend or a family member in an informal fashion, a friendly fashion, and also using the second person singular verb form. Just pause the video and read through the main skills that are tested. Just a reminder, there will be no English text on any of these exams. Everything will be in Greek. So here you have the English version that I've given you. Read through the Greek, read through the English, understand what is being asked of you. Even if it is exam duration, part 1, part 2, etc., 12 points, for example, know everything on the sheet so you don't have to be concerned about what it means. Don't let it stress you. So you will see indicators on the sheets, for example, second page. Well, at least you should know that there is a second page. There will be a lined sheet for you to write your answer on, and then a small note at the bottom of the page to turn the page to go to the next test. Let's take a look at the writing test part 2 for a formal email. So part 2, the formal email. So you will need to write a formal email in Greek to someone depending on the topic that they have provided or they're asking you to write about. So here you will be using formal terms, formal expressions, and also the second person plural of the forms if you're addressing someone directly. So let's take a closer look at the formal email part 2. So once again, we have boxes 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I encourage you to read them over and over again. Again, you will see repeated instructions, repeated style of instructions, vocabulary. The only difference will be the change of the theme or the subject that you need to write about. Here you will need to write with the second person plural, as mentioned before, in a formal fashion, using formal expressions, etc. This is the second page of the formal email. So you'll see the lined page. At the bottom of the page you will see end of the written production exam, etc. So pay attention to those notes. That will be the end of the written test. So the fourth and final test is the oral test. Let's take a closer look. Once again, a similar and repeated instruction or description, and then the English for your convenience here. So here we have the oral test, and keep in mind the oral test will probably happen on a second day, another day, not the same day as the first 3 tests. So the duration of the oral test is 12 minutes, and very often you will participate with someone else, another participant, or you might be alone with the examiner. There are 3 parts to the oral test. The oral test, and it comprises of 3 parts. Part 1, personal questions, 2, open questions, and then 3 is in 2 parts, with a part where you will describe an image and a second part where you will participate in a role play. Here you can just pause the video and read through all of these points. Of course, they are all very important. On this slide, you will see a continuation from the previous slide. Just pause and read through. Let's take a look at oral test part 1, personal questions. Part 1, personal questions. Just pause the video and read through the description. Let's take a closer look at part 1, personal questions. Here you will see typical questions that the invigilator may ask you. So these are questions you should be able to ask yourself and answer them at an A2 level. This is a continuation from the previous slide and more personal questions that might be asked of you. Moving on to the oral test part 2, open questions. This is part 2 of open questions, just pause the video and read through the information on the slide. As I mentioned before, that part 2 is a kind of an extension on the personal questions, open questions, but an extension on personal questions about your life. This slide is a continuation from the previous with more example questions. Let's take a look at oral test part 3, which is actually in 2 parts. So A and B, image description, and then role plays. And again, just pause the video and read the information on this slide. So part 3, describing an image 1, let's take a closer look. So here are some questions that the invigilator may ask you to get you started to describe an image that you will have in front of you. Here is a second example of an image, just another for you to practice with. So just pause the video and take a look at the information on the slide. So this is the final part of part 3 of the oral test. So it is role play. Just pause the video and take a look at the information on the slide. On this slide, I provided additional role play examples. This is just a continuation of the previous slide, role play, and the final part of part 3. So this is the end of the exam preparation mini course. As I said before, this is a very short version of a longer version, which I will put up later. This short version is here just to get you started and to assist you with the pending exams. A tip I have for you is you are the boss in the exam. You paid for it. So you are entitled to ask any question that you want to ask. Be cool, be calm. If you don't understand something, say so. Learn a few phrases here, or just 2 phrases here that if you don't understand, learn these off by heart and ask them. Again, if you have any questions, drop me a WhatsApp. You have my WhatsApp number. If not, see it in the description below, and I can answer the questions for you. Good luck.